What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. This is gonna be a fun one. GMC Denali 2023 Ultimate Edition. Of course, this is the new generation, which obviously has a bunch of changes, but the Ultimate version sitting here in front of us is all new for 2023. And while not perfect, I'm gonna tell you exactly why it's worth all of the asking price. The whole $111,000 Canadian. This is the definition of American excess. It's insane. It's so over the top and excessive, but I think it's great. So let's go for a drive and see what it's about. So of course, Ultimate, you want the biggest engine. Here you've got it delivered. 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. You are able also to spec a diesel inline 6 here, but that's not what we're going for. We're not trying to save fuel here. So why don't we just mat it? A little bit of wheel spin. 10-speed transmission, shifts very smooth. Right up at the top of the power band. Peak torque is around 4,000 RPM, so the power is pushed quite a bit, quite a ways up in the power band, but if you're just driving normally and not like that, not doing a burnout two-wheel drive, driving like a complete moron, it will shift under 3,000 RPM, and you've still got plenty of torque. I mean, despite the weight here, 5,500 pounds, it goes. It really hauls ass. It does not disappoint in the power department, and that's just the beginning. The sound here is phenomenal. As far as I know, it's not pumped into the cabin here, nor does it need to be. It's a big V8. This is what I would expect. We do have magnetic ride control, which you are able to spec on the ordinary Denali, but here we have air suspension. So these two things in combination with one another, as you guys just saw actually right there, one little bump, any little kind of bumps or crevices or anything in the road, it settles so incredibly quickly. It's just one bump and then right back to where you are. You know, the airbags give you effectively variable spring rates, and that's constantly adjusting. That in combination with the magnetic ride control, which is also doing a million things at once and adjusting your ride comfort and damping settings based on how bumpy the road is. The ride is so much better than the Expedition I drove, and that was good. The Expedition had really good ride control and comfort, but this is on another level. The money here, sometimes it doesn't speak volumes. Absolutely, as far as ride quality goes, you're getting what you pay for here. This one's, of course, also spec'd, the Ultimate, with the electronic LSD in the back, in combination with active all-wheel drive. Can you still hear me? Hopefully. In combination with active all-wheel drive, decides where to send torque to each specific wheel, where the traction is needed. And not only does it do that, real torque vectoring, but it also brake vectors. So a lot of manufacturers, of course, say they're torque vectoring, but what it really is brake vectoring. This does both. It reacts well. I'm not able to take this one off-road, but the air suspension also enables you to raise and lower the vehicle. So when you put it in off-road mode, it'll go 1 inch taller, and when you put it in maximum ground clearance, it will raise a full 2 inches above the normal ride height. And then, of course, we have an entry-exit mode, which effectively, when the vehicle is stopped, then it just makes it easier to get in and out if it wasn't already easy enough. The Denali has, ever since its inception, okay, it has been a massive, massive GMC. It's been the staple of the GMC lineup. The Sierra, of course, is the pickup version of this, and then here in the Yukon, it's made to do both. And the Ultimate here, the one I'm sitting in, is the most luxurious. It's meant to be the most comfortable, the most luxurious, and have the most features of any Yukon available. They have the AT4 for off-roading, but here, the question you might want to ask yourself is, hey, today, depending on the day of the week, do I want to be sitting here piloting my six-figure SUV, my baller SUV, for lack of a better term, or do I want to be behind me, playing Xbox and just forgetting about everything? That's the point of the Ultimate, and it delivers on most of those things. Despite the weight, the steering is really good. I've been absolutely blown away, not only by how just quick and responsive the rack is, but how much feel they've been able to actually translate to the road here, which is of course an uphill battle with an SUV this large. Great torque. No, it doesn't feel small, it doesn't feel nimble, but it handles way better than I was expecting it to handle. Starting price here in Canada, $72,000 Canadian. Here as tested, $113,000 Canadian, or about $85,000 USD. Now, of course, that's after the roughly $2,000 destination charge. It's a lot. This is not a cheap vehicle, nor is it meant to be. What do you get when you spend more money? You get darker colors, apparently. So what they've done is they've blacked out the grille here, as you can see, which is a little bit nicer. They've got rid of a lot of the chrome, actually, which I like. Of course, that's subjective, but tell me if you guys are with me on that one. The GMC logo is also blacked out here, which looks so sick. These wheels are actually exclusive to the Ultimate package as well. 22-inch, 7-spoke, ultra bright is what they call them, machined wheels here. I'm still coming around on the design of the wheels. Of course, here you've got chrome Denali on this side. It's very large. Everything is larger than life with the Ultimate, but of course, that's why you buy it. We also have, of course, the retractable side steps here, which come in very handy. If it was dark out, maybe I can get a shot of it, but this one's been equipped with dealer installed. It's basically a line of lights down here. It's a bit much, but if that's your thing, then maybe you'll go for that. I mean, just look at how insanely tall this is. I can't even barely see the horizon. They've got these fins on the corners here. Little roof spoiler here, give it a little bit of a more aerodynamic flavor. And then of course, stainless steel quad tip exhaust. I expect nothing less. One of my favorite features with the Denali is the back window opens exclusive from the entire hatch. So if you just want to reach in real quick, or if you're like me and you shoot car videos, always on a closed course, then you can just use this, stick the camera out, and get some great shots. Of course, that's very just applicable to my life. How does this shut now? There you go. That's a little bit unsettling. Another welcome exclusive for the Ultimate is the Alpine Umber full grain leather interior. The seats won't have you falling asleep anytime soon. They're a bit on the firm side, but they're 16-way adjustable, massage heated, ventilated, and also an art piece to remind you of the 2-speed transfer case that's just about the only thing not on display in the Yukon. Even the 18-speaker Bose system appears as if it's atop a trophy shelf on the headrests. No comment. And here we make our way to where you select your gears. Park, reverse, neutral, drive. They changed it up for this generation. It's not my favorite thing. I don't have too many gripes about the Denali, but it's not perfect. And that's one of them. You press park, and then you pull reverse and drive. And if you want to, if you're, let's say, pulling a trailer, then you can hit the L button, and that'll basically allow you to select the highest gear that you will allow the vehicle to go into, so you can effectively kind of control the revs there. But there's no paddle shifters. There's no actual gear display that I found on the digital display unless you do hit that L button, which I found kind of strange, but at the same time, it's 10-speed, it's constantly changing, and if you're in drive, you're just along for the ride. We have a 10.2-inch touchscreen display here. This has been changed for the new generation. This is basically all Google now. It's all Android, which, as you can see there, it was actually loading a little bit slow there. When you first start it up, then basically there might be like a little bit of a loading screen, as you guys can see there, which I found strange. But other than that, it's very quick. It's responsive. I haven't found myself really wanting to use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay as much as I would have in other systems. Great update. It looks a lot more clean, sophisticated, mature, just kind of sleek. It's got a nice matte finish too, so you don't really see fingerprints, which could be a big problem. Down here we have all your climate controls. The gloss black here, I mean, it is the only place in the entire interior that's gloss black, that's piano black. So it seems a little bit out of place, but again, I'm not sure. Maybe they could have done like a brushed aluminum. That could have looked cool. It feels upscale in here. There's leather everywhere. The steering wheel, of course, is leather. We've got this nice wood grain on the door panels here. We've got wood grain along the dash. And like I said, you are able to move this center console back. How do you do that? Well, from up here, you actually go to the top, hit that button, and the entire thing will move back for you. Let's say if you want to make some orange juice, just throw a bunch of oranges down there. Squeeze them right up. Just huge 12.6-inch LCD displays here for the passengers. They're able to be controlled from the front seat up there. They can be turned off, turned on, and then of course you've got HDMI up here. We can plug in the Xbox, we can play games, whatever you want. Huge armrests, just giant captain's chairs. There is a massive amount of headroom. This has ever so slightly, I mean, really negligible difference in headroom when compared to the Expedition. The Expedition has just a little bit more, but this has a lot more cargo space. It's just that much bigger. So of course, on the sides here, you do have your sliding. You can slide the seat forward and back. This is like the one thing that I've encountered on the Denali that feels a little bit cheap. These plastic controls on the sides here, they're just not, that's the only piece though that I've found so far. And then if we want to, pull them down, they're folded down, and then we can pull it up one more time. Expedition versus this, there's quite a bit more space back here, like I mentioned, but just visually, I can already tell. And the only thing I'm worried about, although it does look very cool, it looks very cool, there's already a couple of little scuffs and stuff here on this brushed aluminum. I'm sure that's not permanent, it could be buffed out or something, but just something to watch out for. It looks great though. Here on the right side, we have our seat controls. So let's say we want to just recline the left side. Look at how fast that is. Look at how incredibly quick that is. We'll hit the right one. Boom, done. This is so much quicker than the Expedition. I really do hate to say it. The Expedition was quick. I thought it was quick until I came here. These seats go up and down so incredibly quick as I get carbon monoxide poisoning. It's so fast. And even in the third row here, you might notice you do have USB-C on the right side there, and then you actually do have a little bit more leather back here, a little leather pad for your elbows, and then a cup holder and a little kind of coin tray there. As far as cup holders and storage space, the Expedition did have more. There was a little bit more storage space back there, and then of course, if you look at the AC vents, we've got two on the ceiling right up there. Drive modes, we've got normal, we've got sport, which definitely changes up the throttle mapping a little bit and tends to keep the 10 speed a little bit more behaved, as I would say. Keeps it a little bit lower in the gears, which is nice. And then of course, new for last year's model, 2022, is the digital gauge cluster here. One of my only gripes with this vehicle is that you're not actually able to take your maps over from the screen onto the digital dash here. That's a minor thing, but a lot of the Europeans are doing that. And then of course, this one's been fitted with the max trailering package, which enables this to tow up to 8,000 pounds. It is worthy to note, the Expedition I was driving was able to actually tow up to 9,200 pounds. You know, this truck does exactly what it sets out to do. And, you know, nothing more, even though, you know, you couldn't really ask much more of it, and nothing less. I think it's a great truck. I think it's expensive, but if you're shopping in this market, you're probably also looking at an Escalade, which is in an entirely different price category, and that has to be taken into consideration here. A couple things I would say about it that I don't love, this whole parking, reverse, neutral drive, and then of course in the second row, you don't get ventilated seats. Not a deal breaker for me, but it might be for you. And then of course, a downside is just the price. It's incredibly expensive. You get what you pay for here, but it's not perfect. And you know, other than that, I think the Yukon Denali Ultimate delivers on the ultimate experience. I have never in my life got this much attention on the road from passerbyers or even replies on my Instagram story of people interested, just general non-car people interested in the Denali Ultimate, which, you know, take that for what it is. Thanks guys for watching. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to see what I'm driving on a day-to-day basis, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I got the Raptor R next week coming. That should be a lot of fun. We'll see you next time.